Good morning, folks. Jim Giacchetta here. Hope you can all hear and see me. Thank you, folks, for taking the next hour out of your busy workday. Today we're going to discuss video over bonded cellular, and hopefully at the end of this presentation you'll have a better understanding how something like bonded cellular could save you as much as $250,000 per year. And the way this type of technology can help you achieve that is by eliminating your satellite truck, your ENG truck, or your mobile production truck. I crunched some pretty conservative numbers. You know, if you take the daily rental of a sat truck of, say, $2,500 per day, $2,500 rental or per day, and taking 365 days a year. If you say you use the truck 25% of the time in your workflow operations, you can come up with a number close to 250,000. Obviously some people might use a vehicle more or less, so that number could be less or more. But I think you'll get the idea, and the bonded cellular solutions are not that expensive, so it really makes financial sense. And the technology has come such a long way that with latency as low as 3 seconds, we can get broadcast quality video live on the air. So before we dive all the way in, I want to take a quick little poll here, see if any of you guys are using or have used or plan to use cellular, a bonded cellular video uplink. So I'll give you guys a second to do the poll. The presentation today, we're going to try to, the first half of it is we go into some of the technical details, what makes our version of bonded cellular different than some of the other players. The latter half, or the latter third of the presentation, we go into products. Our webinars, we try to be more educational as opposed to an infomercial or a commercial. But, since AVIWest is new to North America, I felt it was prudent to put some specific product information at the end. So just wanted to give you a warning of that. So there'll be education up front and then some product specifics towards the back. So let's see here now. I think what I do, if I close the voting, yeah, let me see. How do I display it, Troy? I forget how to do this. Oh, here, share. Here we go. So it looks like 11% of you have used or are using bonded cellular. 56% of you are no. Maybe we can convince you that this might be an option for you. Again, at Vidovation, we never, we don't think it's a prudent strategy to try to force, you have to do cellular, you need to do cellular. If it makes sense for your business workflow, if it makes sense for your business model, we're here to help you maximize your revenue and ease your workflow. And at the end of the day, if we can save you a lot of money, that's a win-win for everyone. So let's dive into it. So, the big dilemma these days are every corporation, every college, every high school, every broadcaster's news agency, everyone wants to go live. Everyone wants to broadcast live. They want to do webinars like we're doing here today. As Americans in particular, we don't like to read anything anymore. We want everything delivered to us in a video format. And if it is breaking news, or if it's sports or other types of live events, we need to broadcast from anywhere live. And down here we have some of the more traditional sports mobile production trucks, sat trucks, electronic news gathering, microwave trucks. I don't think these vehicles are going to go away, and we're not trying to say that we're going to replace them in every application. I don't think George Hoover over at NAP is threatened by bonded cellular. We're not going to put Monday Night Football with instant replay and graphics and commentators through bonded cellular, but we might have some B-roll from the parking lot or an interview in an odd location supplementing a program like that. Or if it is NCAA college sports or even high school sports.
We don't have the slides.
The slides are not showing? Oh, what happened? Oh, sorry about that, guys. Troy just let me know that the slides weren't showing.
Just fell again. There it is.
Okay, that's odd. So yeah, I'll just repeat. You guys can see here, got the mobile production truck. So I don't think these vehicles are going to go away, but what we see a lot of broadcasters they'll do is they'll have multiple feeds. They'll have a satellite link. They'll have a microwave link. They'll have a terrestrial link. So these different links all back each other up. So bonded cellular could be used as a backup to the primary feed, or Fox Sports, particularly in Southern California now, is covering close to 700 high school football games every fall. And they have these small production crews going out with these small vans with a TriCaster in the back and a bonded cellular rig in the back, and they broadcast high school football, believe it or not, live. Every game can be caught live, and then it's archived for a few days, so you can watch if you can't make it to your child's high school sporting event, you can catch it on Fox West or on Fox Prime Ticket. So it's pretty exciting stuff. It really opens up some options. If you're a person who owns a sat truck or a microwave truck, we're not trying to put you out of business. Here's an angle for you guys. Your truck, you're trying to sell satellite services. You've made this, multi-million-dollar or a couple $100,000 investment. Not every client of yours can afford a satellite connection. So there's a trend where we put bonded cellular on the vehicle, on a sat truck, on a KA truck. So it gives you diversity. So you have two paths. Or if a client can't afford the satellite path, we have the bonded cellular. And I'll show you, we have special antennas that go on top of a mobile vehicle. So, say no sat truck, no ENG, no production truck. Again, we understand, we work with these solutions, but I'm trying to make a point that if you can't afford these vehicles, we offer you an alternate solution. So, I'm sure most of you have heard of bonded cellular before. I mean, it's not new technology. Our partner, AVIWest, has been doing it since 2008. We started representing AVIWest a few months before NAB. The team at AVIWest, Irwin, and the CEO, Irwin, and his team have been phenomenal. We have demo equipment available for folks that want to try the technology. We've been getting fantastic support. And in return, Vidovation is giving them a presence here in the U.S. We have a presence in Southern California and in New York, so we hope to be servicing clients real soon. The AVIWest technology was used by a Norwegian broadcaster to broadcast live from the red carpet for the Academy Awards, and 11,000 miles, three-quarters of the way around, halfway around the world, let's say. Yeah, it's probably about halfway around the world. They were able to broadcast live from the red carpet with about 3 seconds of latency. So it just shows you that there really is no distance limitation for bonded cellular. Assuming you're near a cellular or within a cellular network footprint. And of course, there's going to be areas in the world where there is no cellular, and we can hook to BGAN or other supplemental connectivity to supplement cellular, but it's primarily a cellular-based solution. So you can see here, the units will have multiple cellular modems in them. In this particular example, there's 4, or we're showing the 4 major carriers here in the U.S. So you could have up to 10 modems. Usually what we do is we'll have 2 from each of the major carriers. So we'll have 2 Verizon, 2 AT&T, 2 Sprint, and 2 T-Mobile. And 99% of the time, Verizon and AT&T carry most of the load, but you'll be surprised. You want the diversity if there's a big crowd at a ball game or whatnot. One of the 4 carriers will give you some throughput. Or the beautiful thing about bonded cellular, if you only get 2 or 3 100 kilobits per second per modem, you aggregate that over 10 modems, you get 2, 3, 4, 5 megabits per second through. When the network is operating strong, usually one modem will carry the brunt of the payload. So that's the beautiful thing. I'll get into it in a little bit more on the following slides, but it's an adaptive algorithm. The other bonded cellular solutions out there claimed to adapt to network conditions, and Vidovation, we have a lot of wireless experience. We've worked with other cellular modem solutions that are out there, and I'm not just saying this because we represent AVIWES now. It really is the best solution out there right now. Its adaptive algorithm really, really works. So here in Irvine, where our corporate offices are, there's a bunch of canyons up in the hills where the cellular signal's pretty poor, and the product is rock solid. It will adapt. If necessary, it'll even drop down to SD mode. It'll still show a 16:9 image, so it'll appear HD like, or have the HD aspect ratio. So the product truly is adaptive. And what happens is all these signals then, these individual streams, or up to 10 streams of video, audio, IFB, and telemetry, they're streamed individually through the cellular network to the internet, and then they're captured by a 1RU receiving appliance that sits in master control. I'll get into it more, but these appliances can, the base model can receive 4 backpacks. It can output 1 live signal. We have larger receiving appliances that can receive 4 and output 4 simultaneously. So if you have, reporters roaming around and you want to seamlessly switch live between four cameras, you can do that. You can do that. So you can see here the LiveView product. It's the #1 solution in Europe. Some people might say, well, how come I haven't heard of AVIWest in the U.S. before? And they've been very busy in other parts of the world. I'll show you the slides. They're the #1 player in Europe. They got a very heavy, very large client base in the Middle East. They're very strong in Latin America, and with Vidovation's help, we're anticipating getting them on the map here in the U.S. So it's not some new company, new technology. It's been proven. You can see the unit here a little bit. It's no plastic parts. Some of the other units now, to cut costs, they're built with plastic. You have to wonder about the EMI or the SAR compliance shielding from a plastic device. The European standards for human safety and some of the regulatory requirements are very strict in Europe. So we can be certain that this product will be safe to operate in the U.S. because it meets the critical standards not only of the U.S. but the more critical standards of Europe. So you can see here it clips right on the camera. If your operator prefers to have it in a backpack, we have the optional backpack. It's not shown in this picture, but I'll see it on slides coming up. Some of the solutions out there now still are basically a PC thrown in a backpack or a PC thrown in a suitcase. This is a dedicated piece of hardware. There's encoders and circuit boards. It's not a glorified computer, PC, or Linux box. It's dedicated hardware for live bonded cellular streaming. The product is very reliable, has a very high mean time between failure. AVIWest is a very engineering-centric company. They have 25 engineers on staff. They take product design very seriously. It's also has a longer runtime than some of the other solutions, much lower power consumption. And because of its small size, it can mount on the camera. You can purchase the unit with Anton Bauer V-Lock plates or PAG battery plates, or put it in the backpack, as I mentioned. So it's lightweight, it's small, it's great for breaking news, live events, and sports. So what makes it unique? I kind of touched on some of these aspects already, but the AVIWest team, it's composed of engineers, and their engineering team, they come from the video, multimedia, and embedded electronic markets. They've worked at some of the major companies in the broadcast television industry, such as Grass Valley, Ericsson, Canon, and Sagem. The engineering team has more than 100 years of cumulative experience. So they really pride themselves on, the AVIWest team prides themselves on having the best possible quality. They're broadcasters at heart. So the picture quality is very important to them. And then as broadcasters or production companies or whatever your business is, what is your goal? Your goal is to maximize the customer experience or the quality of the experience. So AVIWest is cognizant of that. They understand that how important that is. That just getting a crude connection is not enough. The picture has to look good. The picture can't break up. If there is a problem with the cellular network or the internet, the unit will adapt and will minimize the likelihood of any dropouts or any issues. So what is at the heart of this device? As I mentioned, it's an encoder that in real time adapts to the conditions of the bonded cellular network. It looks at the bit rate, it looks at the latency. It's actually kind of counterintuitive. You could have a bunch of modems in the backpack and they're all cranking away with high bit rate, but it's possible that one of the higher bit rate modems is having a lot of latency, so the other packets have to wait for it. So sometimes the backpack will decide, or the algorithm will decide that, well, we have plenty of bandwidth on these other modems and their latency is more in sync, so we don't have to buffer as much. They won't send any packets through that one modem that is having a latency issue. So it's not only the bandwidth, but it's the latency and delay of the pipes. So bonded cellular, we got these multiple pipes. We pick the pipes with the highest bandwidth and the pipes with the lowest latency, or consistent latency. It's latency differential between the pipes that can be problematic. And then you as an operator can set the output of the unit to whatever resolution you want. So if you want 720p or 1080i, you set the output to that resolution. So you might be capturing in 1080i and you could output in 720p or vice versa. So you have some flexibility there. So again, those of you who are familiar with bonded cellular, we support pretty much any modem that's out there. Theoretically, we can work with any cellular network that's out there. Different regions use different technologies, different carriers use different technologies. We have units with external modem support like this, and we have units with internal modem support. So we haven't found a jurisdiction yet where we can't support your cellular network. If there is a cellular modem out there that we don't have a driver for it, our engineers can write drivers pretty quickly, but that's never been a problem. We give our clients cellular connectivity all around the world. And you can see on the side of the unit, there's a couple of Ethernet ports. One could be used for, you could hook a notebook computer to it to manage the device, or you can use the internal Wi-Fi. You see a little Wi-Fi antenna sitting right here. You can turn the device on as a hotspot, and reporters could use the cellular device to get on the internet to get their story out or to write their story. Or you can talk to the device or manage the device through the access hotspot. So it's quite convenient. Some news agencies, they'll use one device to on the camera to get the video out, and if they need a lot of internet connectivity on campus or at the event, they'll have a second unit just set up as a hotspot. Or clients will use one for multi-use. Again, it depends on obviously you're going to want to give the video connectivity priority to the bandwidth. So it depends what you're trying to do. But folks will often use multiple devices for more than just video throughput. So, as I mentioned, it really comes down to the algorithm in the unit, the hardware algorithm, not software algorithm. This is dedicated hardware. So, this technology gives a broadcaster up to a 10 megabit per second pipe to get HD video back to master control with as little as 3 seconds of latency. So it's a great device. So, again, into more of the engineering elements. It's a high quality transmission link. AVIWest has invested a lot of R&D into maximizing the high gain antennas, and these antennas are tuned for each of the carrier's frequencies and each of the types of technology, whether it be CDMA or LTE. The internal antennas are optimized for that particular type of modulation and radio frequency. And they're all tuned, VISWAR optimized, voltage standard wave ratio, impedance matching. It's all state-of-the-art design, and that's what sets this system apart. The antenna technology. Another thing that does is if you're in a crowded environment, like a soccer field, a football field, baseball game, or whatnot, if you have higher gain antennas than the people with their cell phones around you, you're going to grab the tower ahead of them. You're going to have a stronger signal going out. You'll have better sensitivity coming in. So you'll be able to grab the tower or reach a tower that's further away. The closer tower may be congested. By having a higher gain antenna, we could sniff out a tower that's not a half a mile away, but a few miles away, get a leap to another tower. So that gives us an added advantage in getting throughput, video throughput. Another common problem, I've gotten this question a lot, how do cellular modems, work so in close proximity? If I take 10 iPhones and tape them together in close proximity, how can the radios operate so close together? What is the magic that's going on there? And AVIWest, their engineering team, not only simulated this phenomenon of having antennas in close proximity, they test it in RF chambers to optimize the signal strength on antennas operating at different frequencies in close proximity. And So basically there's a coupling effect where one antenna affects the gain of another because of the close proximity, the electromagnetic waves around the different antennas. They interfere with each other. So through optimization and simulation, AVIWest is able to overcome the drawbacks of having high gain antennas close to each other. So let's go here. So here's some photos of some of the AVI gear in the lab. You can see here specific absorption rate, or SAR compliance as it's called, is a measure of the energy absorption by the body, and by energy I mean RF energy. So this is very important for human safety. We have not seen any claims by other bonded cellular manufacturers that they have done any of this type of testing. I mean, I'm sure someone will correct me if we're wrong, but we would feel if someone had performed this type of SAR testing and analysis, they would be publicizing it. And Vidovation and the AVIWest team, we're happy to share our SAR compliance reports with you. So we take this very seriously. When you use the device in a backpack, there's actually an RF shield in the back of the backpack, since the operator will be wearing it on their back with cellular modems in close proximity. So we don't mess around, or the AVIWest team doesn't mess around. They take this very seriously, and you can see here that we not only comply with the FCC requirements, but we comply with the European Union requirements. And you can see a unit being tested here. Here's some RF spectrum analyzers, and then you see a unit here in the RF chamber being tested and calibrated and optimized. And this strange-looking setup here, they put a material in this table that it's if you guys watch the show Mythbusters, I think it's like a gel that emulates the human tissue, human body. They put this gel or tissue replica in these little trays, and they put the radios and antennas in close proximity to simulate, the damaging effects of the possible damaging effects of RF on human tissue. So AVIWest takes this extremely seriously. It's mandated by the European Union law, and it's strictly enforced. So you can be assured that we. You see a little better picture here. There's like that gel in here that is the human tissue replica. So they have some sensors. There's an emitting device down below here. I think in this particular picture, I found this on the internet. You can see there's like a cell phone here, and then there's a antenna on the other side of the human tissue synthetic there to see how much energy passes through the human skin. So we perform a similar test to this, or AVIWest, that is, perform similar tests to this on their equipment. So as I said, Erwin and his team take this very, very seriously. If you have any questions about this, we can provide you the SAR compliance statement from AVIWest. We'd be happy to share that with you. So what is the AVIWest solution? So again, for some of you that are familiar with this type of technology, might be a little redundant, but basically we have the DMNG Pro Series, and it stands for Digital Media News Gathering. I like to think of the product as more than news. A lot of these products started out with roots in news gathering, but I think of it also for sports, for live events. Putting sports and live events, the acronym would be too long then, I think. So it's more than just news, but any kind of live event, it can help you broadcast. So you see here, it's represented here. We have apps that run on smartphones and for both Android and Apple, so we can stream live from a mobile smartphone. Then we also have rack mount versions. The rack mount versions are great in a vehicle or in a building, and typically you'll use an external antenna and put that on the roof of the vehicle or on the roof of the building. So we kind of have all the different configurations of the technology covered. The receivers we call the DMNG Studio. That's a studio appliance. This slide doesn't have a picture of that, but this is the interface to it. You know, you see your different streams coming in. I have bigger pictures of these, but just kind of giving you an overview. So you can have up to 4 backpacks or transmitters or DMNG Pros transmitting 4 of them simultaneously to a server appliance. Then the studio software, again, I have bigger slides of this. You can see bandwidth, shows you the throughput. It shows you, what modems are putting what bandwidth through there. And then all of this sits in a DMNG Manager, which manages the whole ecosphere. So I'll dive into this a little deeper. So here's a quick overview. The nice thing about AVIWest compared to some of the other players is there's a full color display in the side. So you can control the unit remotely from your notebook or laptop, or you can just control it right from the touch user interface on the side. And these are little thumbnails of the side panel here. So you can see, you pick which studio you want to connect to, which receiving device, which studio receiver you want to connect to. You see it's checking the environment. By environment, it's checking the bandwidth and the latency of the network. It's checking whether you have video, and then it's making the connection. And then it shows you the bit rate as it ramps up. It kind of starts out slow and ramp up, and then it will cap out at your high bit rate. Then down here we have interview mode is primarily how we use the device, unless there's some serious limitations in the cellular network. And interview mode typically gives you 3 seconds. And you can adjust these. You can make the latency as much as 20 seconds if you need to. But typically we leave it in interview mode with 3 seconds. The device is live and it can auto record. It has an SD card, so you can record video internally. You can store and forward. So if you're shooting an important segment, you might want to record while you're simultaneously broadcasting live. If the cellular network should die on you, you don't have to worry. You'll just, when you're done with the shot, move to a location where you have cellular signal again, and then continue pushing the file. So that's a great feature. Right now in the United States, we're able to sell the DMNG Pro 100. This is the portable unit with the external modems. The AVIWest engineering team is in the process of getting the unit network certified for the internal modems. It's not a big deal. It's kind of a formality. The modems used inside the device are hardware that is already certified by Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile. We just have to send the unit to, there are units at their labs right now, and they just got to give their final blessing and approval. So sometime this summer we expect to have all models available. So the 100 and the 110 are available today. The units with the internal, we're allowed to do tests and demos, but we'll have to see if we can sell you those units yet. But I think it's pretty safe to run some limited testing of these units. So I don't want to turn this into too much of a commercial, but I'm just going to quickly kind of go through the different models. Fundamentally, they all support 3G, 4G, Wi-Fi, satellite, or Ethernet. To push video for news, sports, live television. The top of the line model can have up to 8 internal modems. It's got the internal high gain antennas, and then it's got these MCX connectors to hook 2 quad external antennas, and I'll show that on a following slide. You can put there's 2 USB ports on the side. I think in this unit they're on the other side, to have 2 more additional modems for a total of 10. Units have SDI, composite, and HDMI in. And as I mentioned, we support V-mount, Anton Bauer, and PAG batteries. Here's an important differentiator. Some of the other players claim to have IFB and tally functionality, and I've never seen it work reliably, frankly. The AVIWest tally interface and the IFB actually works. So the director and master control can actually talk to the camera operator, talk to the talent through the cellular device. And, here's some of the options. You can get the backpack to mount this in, so the operator can wear it on his back, or the 2 quad antennas, and then the iPhone remote app or Android app. So here's a lesser model, 4 internal modems. It still has 2 external, so a total of up to 6 modems. And you can see a lot of the specifications are the same. So, if you don't quite need 8 to 10 modems, this would give you 4 to 6 modems in a cellular modems, that is, in the same small footprint. This, I see a typo right here. This should say DMNG Pro 110. This unit will, this is a unit we're selling today in the United States. It takes up to 10 external USB modems, SDI composite, HDMI in, different battery mount options. One thing I forgot to mention, all these units have an internal battery that will run probably a good half hour. So it gives the opportunity, if your external V-Lock or Anton Bauer or PAG battery should die, you don't have to panic. You have up to a good half hour to swap out the battery, and the unit will run on its internal battery. That's an important important feature. So let's keep going here. So the DMG Pro 100 is basically a unit with most of the cellular modems taken away. So it's basically a portable encoder, but AVIWest has left 2 of the USB slots on there. So it's an inexpensive way to get an encoder plus have dual cellular connectivity. So it's a very economical way to do bonded cellular over a couple of links. So then we have the RackMount series. So again, I think I mentioned this earlier, that the rack-mounted units can be used in a ENG truck, a SAT truck. It's great for kind of hybrid applications. You got a KA band or a KA truck, and you want to supplement it with some cellular connectivity. You put the external antennas out on the roof. You have all the live auto record, store and forward capability. There's 2 different models, one with 8 internal modems, and then the encoder only option with no internal modems. If you want to use external modems or just use this as an encoder to go over your satellite, it gives you that capability. So I see this being very popular with the SAT truck guys. Then here's a slide of the quad external wideband antenna. So what this does is it maximizes or gives you extra strong signal strength and resiliency in critical conditions for live video transmission. So you see here we show it mounted on a vehicle. Operators will put it on the back of motorcycles. I have some slides that show that. So anywhere where you need a little extra signal, or you're in a ballpark and you want to get a little extra kick, this gives you some more options to get a stronger signal in those cases where you have either a weak signal or high cellular congestion. Here's some more slides. This is some of the certifications the product adheres to. Some of the ESD, electrostatic discharge. This is important, especially for a product that's being used in the field. If static electricity could be prevalent out there while you're out and about, as compared to a product that just sits in a rack for its lifetime that's well grounded. These products are being used, being abused. Their IOs are being touched by operators, and electrostatic discharge resiliency is important. You can see some of the safety standards, the radio standards, and then here are the SAR standards that we adhere to. So you can see here too that here's some comparison statistics. So we took a typical DMNG Pro unit and put it through some SAR testing, and the results are slightly different for the different bands and the different types of carriers. But you can see here that we're well below the 2 watt limit in the European Union. And you can see here, compared to an iPhone 5, it's almost 1 watt per kilogram. So you can see here that we're well within the safety the safety limits in both Europe and the U.S. Here's a little screenshot of the iPhone and the Android app. You can shoot live, stream live using the app. And then it can integrate with, you use the same DMNG Studio, and the managing software can manage this like any other AVIWest asset that you might have out and about in the world. So this just gives reporters a quick way to stream live. Here's a shot of the studio side, the DMNG Studio, the receiver. This is the basic receiver. There is one HD SDI out. I believe there's a reference in, and I'm not sure, I don't recall what the third I/O is for, but the 1RU can receive 4 transmitting appliances, output 1 live. While it's outputting, it can record all 4 simultaneously while streaming, while delivering one of them out live. If you need all 4 video streamed out simultaneously, you'll need a 2RU receiver, and then we can stream all 4 out simultaneously. We have new Linux software running on the receivers, so it gives us more flexibility. We can map a given stream to the internet, to YouTube, Ustream, or a CDN if you want to distribute the video not only to master control but to other locations, or go directly to the web without any post-production. And to mention, there's an IFB remote app that runs on the server, and you can have two-way audio communication with all 4 backpacks independently. So it's not like a group or a party line where you're, the guy who's transmitting from Bangladesh is hearing instructions going to the guy in London. You can talk to each backpack independently. You can see a little snapshot of the interface here. I have a closer up shot here. So you can see here there's up to 4 channels. Only one of them is online right now. It tells us the model number of the unit. It's giving us the IP address of the unit. We have it capped at 6 megabits per second. So if you're concerned about using too much cellular bandwidth, you can throttle the bag up and down, the transmitter up and down, and you can do that here. This particular unit is capped at 6 megs. 6 megs is perfectly respectable to get an HD signal through. This particular unit is running SD with 20 seconds of delay or buffering. Audio is dual mono. You can see here it says pattern is the input. So that's an interesting feature. There's a test signal generator built into the backpack. So let's just say cameraman comes on site, and it's always a good idea to turn the link on first. See what kind of cellular coverage you have. So while he's setting up his tripod, getting his camera ready, he could turn on the unit and put test signal through. So this way, master control, once the bag is on, master control can actually take control of the transmitter unit, change the bandwidth, change the settings. If they see a particular modem is not behaving well or is got very low bit rate, is not connecting, they can actually shut it off. They can just say, look, I don't want the encoding algorithm to be confused by this troublesome modem. I'm going to shut it down. And they can just they click, see where it says active, they just click and they shut it off. Then over here you see the orange is the total aggregate bandwidth, the bonded bandwidth through the network. So this particular unit, it's peaking at about 8, and it's kind of averaging around 4, which is respectable. But you can see the individual modems don't have a hell of a lot of bandwidth going through. So you can see here 1.3 megs looks like the top, 33K looks like the min. And you add those all together, they aggregate to 4 megabits per second. So that's the beauty of bonded cellular. One modem, and look at it, it's a 3G modem, not even a 4G LTE modem. It's a 3G modem is the one doing most of the work. You can look at this modem, it's got a lot of packet loss. The encoder's adapting for that. So it'll probably, the encoder looks at that and will say, well, that modem's losing a lot of packets. I'm not going to put as much data through there. There is a very elaborate forward error correction as part of this. So the algorithm may have been able to recover a lot of those packets. You can see here the actual packet loss is pretty low. Only 2 packets of audio were lost. 110 packets of video were lost. And you can see the average bit rate through, the total number of packets, the total number of bytes. So for a link that's been running for hours to only lose a handful of packets through a cellular network, that's very impressive. So let's see here. So this is the DMNG Manager. So I don't know if you folks saw this at NAB. This is really cool. So this gives Master Control the ability to manage all of their AVIWest assets throughout the world. So you have kind of a web page showing all your assets kind of in a table form, and then you can have a map and physically see where the backpacks are located via GPS. So you can see all your assets, all your resources. We have geolocation. We can monitor systems. Just say, as part of your normal workflow, if backpacks are not in operation, Master Control can push firmware updates. If an operator's done for the night, let's say, hey, look, we got a firmware update. We want to push that to you. Leave your backpack on for an hour, and they'll push the update to it. They can even remotely shut the backpack down for the operator in case, say he forgets to turn it off. He puts it in the trunk of his car, thing's still running. Master Control can take control and shut it down. So that's the beauty of it. I have some close-ups of this. So you can see here in this particular example, a lot of the assets are not online. This one is online. This one is actually streaming live. Let's see what we can see here. So you can see the internal storage is telling us 12% of it is being used. One is an iPhone. We're looking at DMGs. Here are different assets. So you get an idea. You can control your whole ecosystem here. And then here's the cool thing too. Maybe you only want to look at receivers, studios. So you got multiple. You got a master control, but you have affiliates all over the world, and you want to see if all your receivers are operational. You uncheck all the DMG apps and pros and only look at that. So you can, in this view, it's a little confusing because you see all the assets are checked off, and then you can put the assets in different groups. So if you're Disney, you could have an ABC group, you could have an ESPN group, you could have different assets for your different networks. Or you could designate your different crews. Maybe you have crews out there with more than one backpack or transmitter each. So you get the idea that you can manage your whole ecosystem here. Then it gives you a summary here. So there's 2 studio devices, 12 connected devices. There's 1 managing user. Here's the public IP that this managing device or software is connected to. This is its internet public connection, its WAN connection. And then here's the 2 local connections for this appliance. And then here's some firmware and an ID. So you get the idea, and then the software can keep a history of what's happening here. There's not a lot of history written down here, but you could have error logs that come up if there's issues that crop up during your operations. So here's a little close-up. So it shows you a geolocation for this particular asset. It shows you the IP address that it's using, and it shows you its status, that it's live. So that gives the operator an opportunity. Like, maybe I don't want to do a firmware upgrade on this guy because he's live. So master control has visibility as to what's going on. And we can see here, this indicator shows that it's plugged in, and that it has 2 bars out of 5 of its internal battery life. So if this unit were to go, if we were to unplug this, we would need to slap an Anton Bauer or V-Lock battery on there, because we only have 2 out of 5 bars for battery on this unit. So it gives you the full picture. Here's a little snapshot of AVI's presence worldwide. Corporate offices are based in France. People ask, well, why is it AVIWest? AVIWest is in the western part of France. They're fairly close to Paris. I haven't had an opportunity to go to the factory yet. I look forward to doing that soon. Erwin has been out to see us in Irvine quite a few times, and he's a very hands-on CEO, so we've been getting great support from them. You can see corporate is here. They have an office in Morocco, office in Hong Kong. And Vidovation, we have presence here in Southern California and in New York, so we're hoping to service the needs of all the potential AVIWest customers in the U.S. We're not only selling the backpacks. Obviously, if you have a CapEx business model, we would love to sell you a backpack. We have leasing programs, and we have rental programs. So, but whatever your operational needs are, we can support that. I'm not going to read all of these, but you can see some beauty shots. Units were used in Sochi recently. Here you can see. I'm assuming this was some sort of an earthquake in Colombia. I'm assuming that there were some fatalities here. Sometimes when we're on the technical side, we lose sight of of the personal side of what we're filming, you know. So I don't show these images, you know, in a trivial manner, you know. We're just trying to show here that you know, there was probably a severe power outage, severe loss of life. These devices can be used by Homeland Security, by the National Guard, in order to coordinate rescue efforts. So it's not just to get the news out, that this technology can help in humanitarian ways as well. You know, setting up command and control. Everything is so video oriented when it comes to logistics and command and control, whether it's military applications or humanitarian applications. This technology can be very helpful. Or even the fact of getting a internet connection using this as a hotspot. You can see some people have used the quad antenna on a motor vehicle or a motorcycle of some sort. You can see here the camera operator sits on this seat. There's a rig here that will hold some of the camera weight for the operator or give him some steady cam capability, and you see the antenna up here. You see another rig here, camera operator sitting backwards on the motorcycle, and I think you can see the DMNG Pro sitting here with a battery, and then the quad antenna. You know, one of the myths of cellular, maybe this was true years ago, well, it's not going to work in a crowded stadium with, you know, 50,000 fans Instagramming with their cell phones. And yes, there are going to be those cases. You know, no wireless technology is going to work 100% of the time. I mean, Vidovation, we provide a lot of wireless systems, and you know, I think as end users, every technology has its limits. You know, if you're in the basement, in the locker room, trying to interview players after this particular bowl game, let's say, and there's steel in the wall, it's reinforced concrete, you're not going to get much of a cellular signal. Now, if that shot is important to you, we could jump onto a Wi-Fi connection down there. We could put a distributed antenna system. We could even hook a licensed mesh network to the cellular device. So you know, there's always a solution to the problem. If hopefully we can solve the problem within your budget. You know, sometimes there's solutions to the problem that are just too cost prohibitive, or the pain isn't deep enough to warrant the expense of solving the problem. So again, you know, you can see here a prime example. You know, there's got to be 50,000 plus fans at this rugby game in Hong Kong, and the system worked flawlessly. The signal went out live. This particular shot kind of gives me a kick. I'm originally from New York, for those of you that don't know, and I'm not accustomed to wearing flip-flops all the time. So if you notice the helicopter pilot here, he's about to fly the helicopter, and I think he's got flip-flops or sandals on, and I don't know if that meets FAA standards, but that kind of cracks me up. He's a casual helicopter pilot, and you can see here they have a quad antenna vertically and horizontally to maximize their coverage, you know, as they're flying around. That you could even, you know, I'm not sure in this particular picture, but you could theoretically have one on each side of the UE or of the aircraft. So this operator, I'm sure he's strapped in. He's on intercom. You see his tether here to help him keep the camera steady. So he's going to be broadcasting live from this helicopter using AVIWES technology. This slide, you know, again, you know, this looks like a serious situation. You know, Bangladesh. I'm sure there were fatalities related to this flood here. But I chose to put this slide up just to show you you know, I'm sure there's no electricity right now where these guys are shooting. Who knows how many miles of water they had to wade through to get to interview this guy. Thankfully, they're operating on low voltage batteries, so there's a minimal risk of these guys getting electrocuted. But there's probably minimal to no cellular signal where they are, so they're using the high gain antenna on a pole, and they have a third operator just to hold that pole, or he's holding the backpack there probably because if it was on the cameraman's back, it would be sitting in the water. So I mean, it just shows you the resilience of the product, and I really don't think there'd be any other way to get this interview out live. Certainly a sat truck's not going to be able to wade through 4 feet of water. So just gives you an example as when there's no other way to get the story out, bonded cellular can maybe your only choice. Here's a little slide. I have a couple of slides. I'm not going to read this all to you, but you kind of get the idea. AVIWest is not some fly-by-night operation. They've been in business quite a while. Obviously, there's a lot of French operators, being a French company, but they pretty much have every major, Sky News, RAI. I see all the major European operators here on this list. TV2 of Oslo, Norway, those were the guys that broadcasted. They rented a bag from us. They rented an AVIWest unit from us here in Hollywood, and they were able to broadcast live from the Academy Awards a few months ago, and they were very happy with Vidovation service and support. They're one of AVIWest's best customers in Europe, and they were very pleased with the service Vidovation gave them here while traveling in the United States. Here's a list of Middle Eastern and African clients. Again, I'm not going to read this all to you, but I think you guys get the idea. Here's a list of quite extensive list of Asian customers, pack rim customers. And then here's a list of some of the major customers in South America. So, in conclusion, I made this bold statement of saving $250,000 per year. For some of you, that may be an exaggeration. Maybe it's only $50,000. For others of you, you might be spending $500,000 or $1 million. Wherever you are on that spectrum, we can help you make the decision to rationalize whether or not bonded cellular is the right solution for you. By using bonded cellular will help you eliminate a expensive telecom circuit, will help you eliminate the need for an expensive SAT truck, ENG van, mobile production truck. Here's an interesting thing too. That Bangladesh picture. There were three. There was talent, a camera operator, and a gentleman holding the antenna. But in most applications, the talent can go out alone. And the way they're able to do this, they'll go out with a camera, tripod, and the cellular backpack. They typically hook the backpack onto the side of the tripod, set up their shot, turn the backpack on. It's very easy to initiate the connection. You have presets for the different studios you want to connect to. If the operator should get into trouble, he just can't figure out a way how to press that simple live button on the side of the display. Master Control can take over and turn the link on for him. So you don't need to send a 2 or 3 man crew. You don't need an engineer, and you don't necessarily need a cameraman or a camera operator. One person can set it up, frame the shot, and broadcast live, and send one person to cover the story. So this gives us the ability to really broadcast live from virtually anywhere in the world for disasters, news, sports, live events. I'm sure some of you listeners may have other applications that we haven't thought of. So, why choose AVIWest? AVIWest is Europe's #1 bonded cellular uplink manufacturer. and I hope I've convinced you of the robustness of their technology. They really know what they're doing. They're an engineering-centric company. And then why choose Vidovation as a partner here in the United States? Vidovation is a premier wireless video manufacturer and provider. Vidovation, we're best known for manufacturing and supporting the National Hockey League's wireless in-net goal camera. You guys out there that know me, I'm a little bit of a hockey fanatic, and it's the NHL's fault. They sucked me in. We're in the middle of the playoffs, and actually there was a critical call last night during the game. Henrik Lundqvist of the Rangers trapped a shot between the post and his glove, and our camera was able to give them an instant replay of that shot. So any of you hockey fans out there, I say make sure you watch the playoffs, watch more hockey. So who is AVIWest? I mean, some of this is a little redundant. I kind of covered this as we went along, but 2008 was when the company was formed, so they've been around quite a while. They're in Reims, France, offices in Hong Kong, Vidovation master distributor in the U.S. The core business is bonded cellular, hybrid encoding, serving TV, news operators, sports leagues, government agencies, Homeland Security and Defense. And then, who's Vidovation? You guys out there that are not familiar with who we are. I've personally been in the television industry, broadcast industry for, going on 30 years now. But, Vidovation, we're a video, audio, and data communications manufacturer and provider. We have customers from broadcasters, TV networks, sports leagues, corporate IT departments, and we really love to solve problems. We strive to solve problems. We enjoy solving problems. We like asking a lot of questions in order to really get to the heart of an issue that a customer might have. So, the customers that they're frustrated with dropouts, latency, limited range in their wireless communications. We heard that a lot at NAB. People were frustrated with the range of their wireless systems. Well, if you want to get thousands of miles of range or tens of thousands of miles of range, like TV2 did for the Academy Awards, talk to us about bonded cellular and AVIWest. Often clients are confused. Do I need bonded cellular or do I need something else? We'll help you to make those decisions if it's a little overwhelming or confusing. And look, we're here to help you. If it's not a fit, we're okay with that. Some sales teams will force a solution down a customer's throat and then they're not happy with it. At Vidovation, it's a long-term relationship. So if bonded cellular is not right for you today, maybe we have something else that you need, or if we don't meet your current needs today, we look at it as a long-term relationship to help you somewhere down the road. So, if any of you are struggling with these types of issues, video communications issues, we'd love to hear from you. Here's a list of clients we've worked with over the years. I'm not going to read this to you, but you get the idea. If you folks have any questions, I know we're kind of going over the hour limit here. I have a tendency to I get excited about cellular technology, wireless technology, so I might have gone a little long, and I apologize. If you guys have any questions, let me see if anything has come through.